How are ethnic minorities treated in Vietnam? How are ethnic minorities treated in Vietnam? This question opens up a fascinating discussion about the diverse population of the country and the policies that shape their lives. Vietnam is home to over 50 officially recognized ethnic minority groups. The treatment of these groups is influenced by the Vietnamese Communist Party, which has been in power since the end of the Vietnam War in 1975. The Communist Party claims to support equality and unity among all ethnic groups. Official policies stress the importance of developing all regions and integrating minority groups into the national project of socialist construction. They assert that guidelines are in place to improve living standards and ensure participation in political and social life for these communities. However, the reality is often more complicated. Historically, the party made promises of autonomy to ethnic minorities, especially during the fight for national independence. For instance, during the First National Congress in 1935, the party promised autonomy for minorities in the Central Highlands. The 1960 Constitution of North Vietnam recognized autonomous zones for ethnic minorities in certain areas. These zones were used strategically during the war to gain support from minority communities. After Vietnam's reunification in 1975, many of these promises were not kept. The party abolished the autonomous zones that had existed during the war. Instead, they encouraged ethnic Vietnamese and communist officials to settle in minority regions. This led to a dilution of the minority population and weakened their ability to maintain distinct cultural identities. The government's approach to ethnic minorities is often described as assimilationist. While minority languages and cultures are not outright suppressed, the state promotes the Vietnamese language and national identity over local traditions. For example, candidates for the National Assembly are expected to speak Vietnamese, which can limit representation for some minority groups. The government does invest in infrastructure and economic development in minority regions. However, critics argue that these efforts sometimes prioritize national integration over the specific needs of minority communities. The party views the integration of minorities as essential for national development and stability. Official narratives highlight progress in education, health care, and economic opportunities while downplaying allegations of discrimination. In practice, there is often a gap between what is promised and the lived experiences of many ethnic minorities. Some groups report limited political representation, loss of land due to government projects, and pressure to assimilate into mainstream Vietnamese society. The lack of genuine autonomy and the government's control over minority regions have led to tensions and occasional protests. The Vietnamese Communist Party's approach to ethnic minorities is rooted in the ideology of socialist unity and national integration. While official policies aim to support these groups, the implementation often prioritizes state control. The legacy of unfulfilled promises and the settlement of ethnic Vietnamese in minority areas have shaped the current situation, where minority voices and rights remain limited.